So he's busy doing his own show.
Yeah. Well, can I ask you about the girls this year?
Yeah.
Last year, Akasha kind of fell into that nasty girl, you know, the role that everybody hates, you know, the one that you love to hate her. Is there one of those girls this year?
Absolutely. It may just be all of them this year because, you know, this year the girls had the advantage of having seen the first season.
Yes.
So they came with premeditated agendas, and they knew the lay of the land in advance, so they knew what they had to do. And the first season girls didn't have that advantage. They didn't know what they were getting themselves into.
Right.
The girls this season, I would say, they're a bit more ruthless in their quest for the crown.
Sure.
The first season girls were more diplomatic, and these girls are more ambitious.
Gotcha. Where do these contestants come from? Is it like other reality shows? Do you travel the country going to different auditions, or do you scout them out or have people do that at different clubs? How does that work?
Exactly. They're scouted from all over the country by a casting agent, and then we get tapes back here in Hollywood and go through them and choose the girls based on how they represent certain genres of drag, and then we assemble an ensemble that would work really well together. Sometimes we have 3 of one type of girl,
sure,
and we need to choose the one that's going to work the best in the ensemble that we already have. And then a couple of the girls were kids that we had seen for the first season, but somehow they didn't fit the ensemble the first season, so we brought them back. Or we brought them in the first time in the second season.
I just loved Pork Chop the first season. I mean, I don't understand how you could not know how to sew at least a button, you know. I wanted... Go ahead.
Well, it would surprise you. A lot of the kids don't know how to sew. And I come up in a family where my mother sewed and she taught me how. But
right.
I was surprised, too, that so many kids don't know how.
Now, let me get the skinny, then, on all the stick-thin queens that make up this season's cast. You only have one fuller-figured girl.
Well, they're all very young. They're all very young, and these kids. These are the top girls in the United States of America, and they are competitive. So, you know, they're watching their weight. A lot of them are making sure that when they came in, that they were very thin. In fact, last season, I know that Chanel had dieted profusely.
Oh, really?
Before she came in.
Well, speaking of dieting, we're actually serving directly from your book, the recipe for a supermodel diet plate. And I have it right now. I'm going to present it to the girls. Of course, you know it's a Tic Tac. Ladies, here you go. Don't eat all of that now at one sitting. So we thank you for that. Can I ask you, what kind of challenges the drag queens face this year?
Well, as you know, all of the challenges are based on things indirectly or directly that I've had to do in my own career and my own 28-year career, and it's a lot of fun. One of the challenges the girls have to create a wedding dress as a bride, and then create a groom for a photo session where they actually marry themselves. They have to create the male counterpart to their female bride.
Oh, wow.
And that's a lot of fun. One of the challenges where we take some of the pioneers of the gay liberation movement and gives them to the girls as their drag mothers. So a lot of these gay guys who are, you know, in their 60s and 70s have never been in drag before.
Sure.
And the kids have to make them up as their drag mothers. And I thought it was just a good opportunity for the young kids to learn from the gay pioneers who had come before them. And in fact, you know, with me coming up, I had mentors who taught me about my gay history and had taught me about, you know, the gay icons and people like Julie the Bankhead and you know, Cole Porter and all that stuff. And this was an opportunity for us to offer that to our kids.
Well, not that you're anywhere of the age of Tallulah, but you are an icon, and I'm sure that that's the next generation look to you as opposed to, you're this generation's Tallulah.
Well, I never set out as a role model. If people like or are inspired by what I do, I think right on. But it's never something that I ever set out to do or wanted to sort of, carry myself as this sort of role model. I think, people, role models are temporary. You know what happens? Even for me, it's like a rocket that needs a fuselage to propel it into space. Once that rocket gets into space, you don't need that fuselage anymore.
Sure.
You are self-propelled at that point. And a lot of the icons that I grew up with, love them, but it's I wouldn't consider them sort of role models at this point. Now I gathered my own energy source.
Yeah.
From within. And hopefully that's what most people will eventually do.
Well, I think that you're a marvelous example, and doing such mainstream things with drag, things that I think the next generation really, they take it for granted because they have their own, we have our own network, logo, and, well, of course there's a Lifetime too, but... But the next generation, they don't know what it's like to have to go to a speakeasy, or to change their pronouns when they speak,
Right.
The next generation, they're all about young, gay, and fabulousness.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a little bit about what you look for in a contestant? Like if my friend's sitting here, we're going to audition. What makes a contestant stand out?
Well, initially, after the initial charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent, we're
Right.
looking for real zest. We're looking for that it factor. And we're looking for someone who is willing to do anything to make it to the top. Listen, I started out with a bunch of kids in the East Village, even in Atlanta, and some were more talented, more beautiful, more everything than me. But one thing I had above them was the ambition and the willingness to roll up my sleeves and get to work. I mean, not just talk about what I'm going to do, but actually get in there and write a book or create an outfit or create a whole show or create a whole album. And that's something that, a lot of people don't have to stick with it, this factor.
Sure. Can I ask my favorite challenge?